We're now putting our auth token in local storage whenever a user logs in successfully, and we're also managing our user state with the help of Apollo client state. But we're still not sending our auth token to our backend as a authorization header on our request. So to do so, we need to head back to our index.js file within source. Once again, we need to change our Apollo client configuration. And the first thing we need to add is an object called fetch options. And on fetch options, all we want to do is say credentials include. We want to say that we're including credentials, in this case including an auth header on our request. This is basically what all of this says. Now after this, we need to supply a special function. We need to add a special function called request, and within the parameters of request we get an object called operation, and operation allows us to set our headers. So when we take operation and use a method on it called setContext, we pass an object to setContext, and on that object is a headers object where we can set all of our headers as individual properties. As we're very familiar with, the one header that we need to add is authorization, and on it we need to supply the prefix JWT and then our token. So to get our token above where we're executing setContext, we can once again say local storage.getItem, and we're going to get the item with the key auth token, and we want to put this in a variable called token. Now of course, if a user doesn't have auth token in their local storage, then this is going to return undefined. It's not going to be able to find it. So instead of putting undefined on the token and putting that on our authorization header, we can just add an OR conditional where if the beginning of the condition evaluates to false, then we're just going to put in token an empty string. And then we can use to root. So now instead of executing our get tracks query, we'll just comment this out and we'll add a new variable called the me query, where we're just going to query for me and some random values on it, say the ID, username, email. That should be fine. And then we'll swap out the get tracks query on the query prop with me query. So when we save root, if our authorization is being passed through correctly, we should be able to get our actual user. And if we remove our auth token and refresh and log in again, say with a different user, when the me query is executed, we get their particular information.